Lesson number 12 for Tuesday, March 21st. The New Jerusalem. The biblical description of the New Jerusalem is what Abraham saw by faith. Hebrews 11:10. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God. The New Jerusalem is God's masterpiece, built for those who love him and keep his commandments. The New Jerusalem will be the home of God's faithful children in heaven during the millennium and afterward on the new earth for eternity. There is good news for those of us who don't like packing or moving. God takes care of everything. John says he saw the city. Then I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Read Revelation 21 that deals with all the promises of the New Jerusalem and see what is in store for us. There is so much here that our minds can barely comprehend, damaged as they are by sin, and knowing only a fallen, sin-racked world. But what we can understand is so full of hope. First, just as Jesus dwelt with us in this fallen world when he came in the flesh, he will dwell with us in the new one. What a privilege it must have been for those who saw Jesus up close and personal. We will have the opportunity only now without the veil of sin distorting what we see at that point. Then, too, how do we know at that point where we all only know tears and sorrow and crying presently? How will we understand one of the greatest promises in all the Bible that says, "And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, no sorrow, no crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away." Revelation 21:4. All those former things will have passed away, things that never should have been here to begin with. Also, flowing from the throne of God is the pure river of life, and on either side of the river is the tree of life. God's throne will be there, and they shall see his face. Revelation 22:4. Again, the redeemed will live with a closeness to God that, for the most part, we don't have now. Revelation 21, verses 7 and 8, talk about the fate of those who will face the second death. Which sin of those depicted there could not have been forgiven by Jesus? And the texts say, all who are victorious will inherit all these blessings of the New Jerusalem, and I will be their God, and they shall be my children. But cowards who turn away from me, and unbelievers, and the corrupt, and murderers, and the immoral, and those who practice witchcraft, and idol worshippers, and all liars, their doom is in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur. This is the second death. Why, then, are these people lost when some have done the same things that are saved? What is the crucial difference between these two groups? From the book God's Amazing Grace, page 358, it says, "To his faithful followers, Christ has been a daily companion, a familiar friend. They have lived in close, constant communion with God. Upon them the glory of the Lord has risen. In them the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ has been reflected. Now they rejoice in the undimmed rays of the brightness and glory of the King in his majesty. They are prepared for the communion of heaven, for they have heaven in their hearts. A little longer, and we shall see the King in his beauty. A little longer, and he will wipe all tears from our eyes. Then, by innumerable voices, will be sung the song, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God." And from the Great Controversy, page 544, it says, While life is the inheritance of the righteous, death is the portion of the wicked. Moses declared to Israel in Deuteronomy 30:15, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. The death referred to in these scriptures is not that pronounced upon Adam, for all mankind suffer the penalty of his transgression. It is the second death that is placed in contrast with everlasting life. In consequence of Adam's sin, death passed upon the whole human race. All alike go down into the grave, and through the provisions of the plan of salvation, all are to be brought forth from their graves. There shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. For as in Adam all die, even so in Christ shall all be made alive. Acts 24:15 and 1 Corinthians 15:22. But a distinction is made between the two classes that are brought forth. John 5:28-29 says, all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. They who have been accounted worthy of the resurrection of life are blessed and holy. On such the second death hath no power. Have a wonderful, blessed day.